Hey everybody, Sean McInnes here, talking to Massimo Guarini, the game director on a little game coming up called Shadows of the Damned. Massimo, as game director on this game, obviously you're sort of the guy in charge, you're pretty high up there on the totem pole, but you know, you're not the only big name attached to this project. You've also got Suda51 working on it, Shinji Mikami as well. Can you talk about your experience collaborating with these guys and how these different personalities have affected the outcome of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Working with Shinji Mikami and both Shinji Mikami and Suda51 was really an interesting experience for me, and I'm honored about that at the same time. And it was quite challenging at the same time. I would say they're both very strong personalities, and as such, at the same time, they're like kind of complementary. So it was kind of natural for me to be able to take inspiration from both and assess and express their high-level vision into something that you see in Shadows of the Damned, which is a complete game.
How about yourself, Massimo? What kind of game are you trying to make Shadows of the Damned? What kind of, what kind of experience are you trying to give to the player as you guys work on this project?
Well, I had the opportunity to influence quite a bit Shadows of the Damned with my own taste as well. I think what I personally brought to the game is that kind of typical 80s B-movie style that you can easily see in the game. And I like personally to take inspiration from different medias, not just games. I actually try not to look at other games as much as I can, because anyway, that's my job, so I need to play games in order to to get in line with the market and with what's happening. But that's not the only inspiration source for me. So I'm a huge fan of music and movies and other things, so even my own daily life is a source of inspiration for making a game. So I think that approach is something that you can quite feel this time in Shadows of the Damned.
Name's Christopher. Now don't y'all be afraid, I ain't gonna bite, trust me. You see, I'm what you call a mixture of beast and human. Oh, best of both worlds, my pappy said.
Now, speaking of things outside of basic gameplay, Shadows of the Damned is a game that it walks a very fine line between horror and comedy in terms of the dialogue and the writing. Can you talk about the creative process of making sure that this game is balances really well between those two elements, and also the challenge behind taking this from a Japanese developer and making sure that all of that translates to a Western audience?
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed the point here, because what we had in mind was try to create as much as possible contrasts and blurring a little bit the line. Everyone was expecting a survival horror game because of Mikami-san's involvement since the very beginning. When we started communicating properly the game through EA, we switched to a psychological action thriller kind of label for the game. But at the same time, it's going to be humor, and I'm talking about really low B-movie style humor. Mixing together this allows us to come up with a structure that gives to the player a never-ending combination of situations, so you never know what to expect, and that's what we enjoy, not just as developers but also as players, doing in the game.
It sounds like a cat having sex with a harmonica, and not the consensual kind.
Hey, every demon has the right to pick the music for his own funeral.
Now, as a game with this, absurd, over-the-top sense of humor, a game that doesn't take itself very seriously, you give yourself a lot of opportunities to explore lots of different gameplay elements, lots of different weapon types and all that. Can you talk about the process between coming up with the weapons and the environments and the characters in this game, and when you guys learned to say when instead of, when you realize that's enough, we've got that perfect balance there?
You never get perfect balance anyway in a game, but I think gameplay was actually a tool we used to express grotesque elements or over-the-top action. We're making a game after all, so gameplay is your first language. That's what gameplay mechanic is what the player uses to live the experience, right? So we naturally came up with gameplay ideas or situation which makes you smile sometimes or make you definitely laugh, and that was really something easy to do from my perspective. It was probably the most interesting part of the whole project, coming up with those kind of little bits here and there that allows to express what we want to express through gameplay. And I hope really players will understand and recognize that and enjoy that.
All right, well, when are players going to finally get their hands on this game, Massimo? When is it going to be out in stores, and what are the platforms it'll be out for?
Shadows of the Dam will be out in the US on June 21st, and it's going to be for Xbox 360 and PS3.
Thanks a lot. There you guys have it, Shadows of the Damned.